Where do you really truly place your deepest trust? I mean, is it solid, focused on just one thing, or is it maybe scattered, maybe more than you realize?
And what happens when that divided trust is seen not just as, a mistake, but as a deep betrayal by an ancient power?
Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we try to give you a genuine shortcut to getting informed. We dig through sources, could be articles, research, or even, like today, ancient texts. And we pull out the key nuggets, the important insights, tailored for you, the listener. Today, we're heading into some really deep water, the first chapter of the biblical book of Micah.
What's fascinating here as we jump into Micah chapter 1 is just how incredibly relevant this ancient voice still is, thousands of years later.
Right.
Our mission today really is to get a handle on this powerful prophetic message. It's a message of judgment against ancient Israel and Judah. And we need to focus on the core problem, idolatry.
Idolatry. Okay.
And crucially, why does this ancient warning still hit home for us today? That's what we want to explore.
So let's start with the man himself, Micah. We don't have a ton of biographical detail, but what we do know is pretty significant.
Yeah.
His name, for starters, means who is like Jehovah, which is basically the central question of his whole book, isn't it?
Absolutely. It sets the stage immediately.
He was from a small town, Morsheth, about 20 miles southwest of Jerusalem. And interestingly, he was working around the same time as the prophet Isaiah.
Contemporaries, yeah. Possibly even friends, sharing that same burden.
You can see parallels in their messages, and Micah's ministry happened during a really rough patch for Judah. Morally, things were going downhill under Kings Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah.
It's important context.
And you mentioned Jotham. He and his father before him, they didn't remove the high places, these centers of idolatry. That set a bad precedent, a negative path for the nation.
It really did. And Micah wasn't alone shouting into the wind. You had Isaiah, like you said, but also Hosea and Amos active around this same time. A chorus of warning.
So this message Micah brings, it's not just his opinion, is it?
Not at all. Right from verse 1, he makes it clear. This comes straight from God. But what's really striking is who it's for.
Okay.
It's not just for Judah or Israel back then. It's addressed to all who live on the earth. Universal.
Wow, okay, so right from the start, it's global.
Exactly. And that's the key for us listening now. God is unchanging. His character, his standards, they don't shift with the centuries.
So when he issues a charge against them...
But we need to pay attention. We should ask ourselves, are these same issues, these same divided loyalties, still echoing in our world, in our own lives maybe?
That really sets the stage for what comes next, which is incredibly dramatic. Micah chapter 1, verse 3, imagery is just so powerful.
It is.
God coming out of his place, and specifically to tread on the high places of the land. This isn't subtle.
No, it's forceful. It's active intervention. He's coming down to personally stomp out this idolatry.
And here's where it gets really interesting. The reaction of the earth itself. Verse 4.
Yeah, the cosmic response.
Mountains melting like wax near a fire. Valleys splitting wide open like water pouring down a cliff. It's this huge, unstoppable earthquake almost. Creation itself reacting to God's presence.
The scale is immense. It underscores the gravity of the situation, and verse 5 tells us exactly why this is happening.
Right. What was the fundamental issue?
The core crime, as the text puts it, of Jacob and Israel. They set up images to be equal to God.
Equal to God. Okay. How did that actually look on the ground?
Well, in the northern kingdom, Samaria was the hub, a place God hadn't chosen for worship. But maybe even more shocking, in the south, Judah.
Yeah.
Idols were set up even in Jerusalem, the holy city, the place where God's temple stood.
Right in the heart of things.
Exactly. And what's fascinating here, and maybe a bit subtle, is that it wasn't necessarily like they completely turned their backs on God altogether.
Oh. So they were still worshiping God, kind of.
It seems they were trying to have it both ways, trying to trust in both God and their idols, hedging their bets, you might say.
Okay. Straddling the fence.
Precisely. And this bumps right up against a core truth about God we see everywhere in Scripture. He is a jealous God. That doesn't mean petty jealousy, but...
protective of his rightful place.
Exactly. He will not tolerate anything being elevated to his level. He created everything. He demands exclusive, ultimate loyalty.
That's a really crucial distinction. Not total abandonment, but divided loyalty.
And that immediately brings it home to us, doesn't it? It makes you ask yourself, do I maybe put my ultimate trust in things other than God?
Yeah.
Without even realizing it sometimes?
Like what? What kind of things?
Oh, is it really my family that I rely on above all? my job security? What about my savings, my retirement account? Even good things. A respected leader, a pastor.
So are we maybe doing the same thing as Judah, splitting our trust between Jesus and our own plans, our own efforts, our comforts?
It's a challenging thought because here's a core insight from this passage, I think. Real faith, true, unadulterated trust is only really faith when it's all you have.
Wow. Say that.
Real faith is only faith when it's all you have. When you start diversifying your ultimate trust, putting a bit here, a bit there, you inevitably water down your genuine faith in God. It's a call to examine our hearts, really.
Okay, so the charge is divided loyalty, trying to serve two masters. And the consequences Micah describes for Samaria, the northern kingdom, they are just brutal.
Devastating.
Yeah.
Verses 6 and 7 paint a picture of utter ruin. Samaria completely destroyed by the Assyrians, turned into a heap in the countryside.
Like rubble, a place for planting vineyards, it says.
Exactly. Its very foundations ripped out, laid bare, total annihilation.
And then there's this language about prostitution. How does that fit in?
Yeah, the Bible often uses that image prostitution as a metaphor for spiritual unfaithfulness.
Yeah.
Betraying the covenant relationship with God.
Okay.
So when Micah talks about the wages of prostitutes, he's referring to the wealth these idols in their shrines accumulated, the offerings people brought.
The money they made from idolatry.
Right. Ill-gotten gains, spiritually speaking. And the judgment. That wealth would be seized by the Assyrian invaders and used for their idols. It's this horrible cyclical transfer of unholy wealth, mirroring the spiritual betrayal itself.
Delivering this kind of message, you can feel Micah's pain, can't you? It wasn't easy for him.
Not at all. Verse 8 is heartbreaking. He describes himself howling and wailing, going barefoot and stripped, acting almost out of his mind with grief.
Is that just his personal reaction, or is there more to it?
It's both, I think. It's genuine anguish, but it's also prophetic sign acting. His actions were a visual, visceral warning to the people of the shame and the slavery that was coming. God often uses deeply feeling people to deliver his toughest messages.
And the grief gets even worse, doesn't it? Because it's not just Samaria.
That's the devastating blow in verse 9. Micah cries out, "Her wound cannot be healed," talking about Samaria, and now it is coming to you, to Judah as well.
It's spreading south.
Right to his own people, reaching even to the gate of my people, to Jerusalem itself. You can imagine the agony. It's one thing to pronounce judgment on a rival kingdom, maybe, but to bring that news home, to your own neighbors, your own city, that's a different level of pain. His distress is personal.
So the judgment isn't contained. It sweeps down towards Judah and Jerusalem. And then Micah does something interesting. He lists 10 towns, verses 10 to 16.
Right, 10 towns. And number 10 in the Bible often signals a kind of earthly completeness.
So this isn't just a random list.
Likely not.
Yeah.
It seems to paint a picture of the complete judgment covering the whole nation. A comprehensive sweep, no area spared.
And the names of the towns themselves often play into the prophecy, right? Like wordplay almost.
Exactly. It's quite powerful. You mentioned Gath earlier. Its name means wheat town. But ironically, Micah tells them not to weep openly, not to let their enemies, the Philistines, see their sorrow and gloat.
Then there's Beit Lafra, house of dust.
And they're told to literally roll in the dust, a sign of deep mourning and repentance. Shafir, meaning beauty town. Its beauty will be stripped away, replaced by shame.
Sanan, march down.
They won't be marching out to fight. They'll be hiding in their homes. And Lachish, that would get special attention, southwest of Jerusalem.
Why Lachish?
Micah calls it the beginning of sin for Zion, for Jerusalem. Apparently, this is where some specific forms of idolatry, maybe even sun worship involving horses and chariots, first took root in Judah.
So it was like an entry point for this corruption.
Seems like it. And the tragic irony is that the very things they may have trusted in chariots and horses won't save them. They'll end up giving the town's wealth over to the Assyrians as a kind of parting gift, or dowry to their conquerors.
It's just layer upon layer of judgment. What about Adullam? That name sounds familiar.
It does. That's where David hid in caves when he was fleeing from King Saul. And Micah says the glory of Israel, meaning its leaders, will flee and end up in caves like at Adullam, hiding in disgrace.
A complete reversal of fortune, a heartbreaking tour of national collapse.
It really is. It emphasizes that the consequences of turning away from God aren't abstract. They hit every town, every community. It's total. And then comes the final, really chilling detail in verse 16.
What's that?
The invaders, the Assyrians, would take the young people first, the children.
Oh, that's awful.
Micah tells the parents, the remaining adults, to shave the hair from your head, Make yourselves as bald as vultures.
Mhm.
It's this extreme sign of mourning for their precious children dragged off into exile.
Bald like vultures, a stark image of loss.
It is. And this raises an important question, I think, that echoes through time. What does it say about a society when its collective spiritual choices lead to the most vulnerable, the children suffering the first and perhaps harshest consequences?
That's heavy. It really makes you pause. So what does this all mean? Wrapping our heads around this deep dive into Micah chapter 1. It's been intense.
It has.
We've seen this powerful message about the consequences of, well, not trusting God completely, this divided trust, and how God's stance against anything taking his rightful place, it just doesn't change.
That's the core of it. It's ancient, yes, but the principle is timeless. Ultimate loyalty can't be split. It demands our all.
Which brings us back to that challenge you raised earlier.
Indeed. Micah's indictment of idolatry back then, where people tried to lean on God and their idols.
Yeah.
How does that challenge your understanding of real faith today?
Yeah.
In a world where idols aren't usually stone statues,
Right.
where does your ultimate trust, your deepest reliance truly lie? Is it solely on God? Or are there maybe subtle high places in your life? Things like comfort, security, your reputation, maybe even your own abilities or ambitions. Things that subtly compete for that number one spot that belongs only to God.
That's definitely something to mull over, a real challenge.
It's a profound question, worth carrying with you long after we finish talking.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Micah's powerful opening chapter. We really hope it sparks some thought, and we encourage you to continue exploring these deep, important themes on your own.
Thanks for listening.
Until next time.